Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we have some new reveals from Hayden Christensen himself, also some crew talk about Darth Vader in the Obi Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show. Of course, what does this mean for that kind of hindsight looking back at it, but more importantly, what could this actually mean moving forward and going forward here for a potential reprisal of just the overall role of Darth Vader. Hayden Christensen making a return once again as the iconic character, a possible potential Obi Wan Kenobi Season 2 for Disney Plus. Of course, we're going to go ahead, hop right on into it, break it all down for you guys, everything that we know, everything that we're hearing, and everything that we're anticipating right now. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab the subscribe button today. In this video, we are going to be taking a quick read from one of my favorites, StarWarsNewsNet.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. So as I read in an upcoming clip from the bonus features of Obi Wan Kenobi's Steelbook Blu-ray release, that is its physical copy release, something by which we've already discussed all those details here on the video on the channel already in a separate video. Much rather is what I'm trying to get at. Hayden Christensen and the crew members have talked about how they made the bacta scene that properly had announced Darth Vader's introduction into the series by the end of episode 2 of the Obi Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show. Over Variety.com, the production made a conscious decision not to be overly relent on visual effects and to show Vader in the tank. It was entirely practical at that, and as if you couldn't already tell, I love to see those behind the scenes features and showcasing those bonus features really of how they make that kind of thing come to life, especially when it comes to practical effects. Those I feel always look a lot better. Hayden Christensen also revealing that he was actually in the tank holding his breath while shooting the scene to make sure no air bubbles were present inside, which really makes it all the more and shows how into it Hayden can really get into it. He says this all in quote, "I had to be completely submerged in water, holding my breath, so I got to work with a great dive coach, and he would teach me different breathing techniques. I think my longest breath holds were around 2.5 minutes. It was surprisingly peaceful in there." Ending that quote right there. 2.5 minutes is pretty insane. For those of you that don't maybe, I guess, swim necessarily or go underwater and try to hold your breath, that's a pretty long time. For myself, on average, I think I can hold my breath for like a solid minute. But hey, even then, that's on a good day. That claim is made even more impressive as if it wasn't already when you remember that he's covered entirely in makeup, prosthetics, to make his head and his torso look as charred as it was in the aftermath of Revenge of the Sith Episode 3 and after his duel with Obi Wan Kenobi on Mustafar. Associate producer Stephanie Peters also had talked about a bit more about needing to get the lighting right and to avoid any air bubbles in that scene, saying that there, in quote, "It was really important to test it out ahead of time and to make sure that the lighting was correct, the watercolor was correct, to make sure that the prosthetic held up and that there weren't any air bubbles, because we weren't cheating it. It was Hayden without any sort of breathing kind of support, doing breath holds." Ending that quote right there. And that really does go to show into the production side of things, into making this scene really as perfect as it came out to be, and the hard work that goes on in behind the scenes there. All of those small, tiny little minute details add up to such a larger picture. As of for myself, for those of you that may or may not know, I've had a bit of an opportunity to work within the film industry itself, having worked on an actual full-fledged production or feature film production at the beginning of this year, back in February. There's a lot of work that goes into even just normal scenes, normal conversation scenes. So to see this scene and like how they would have pulled that off at the time for Obi Wan Kenobi is honestly so insane. Also chiming in the same bonus feature discs for Obi Wan Kenobi, co-producer and production designer, the very legendary, talented Doug Chiang, had spoke about his excitement at being able to provide an even more intimate look at Darth Vader, as someone who's been working on Star Wars projects since 1999, saying that there, in quote, "For the first time, we were going to reveal Vader in all of his various stages. In some ways, it's better to do more mysterious, but here, we're now trying to peel back the layers a bit." Ending that quote right there. If you don't know who Doug Chow is, or Chang much rather, my apologies, mispronouncing his last name there, having worked on Star Wars projects since 1999 with The Phantom Menace, and he's still working with Lucasfilm, still working with Disney and Star Wars to bring the visions, to bring all of this, a story of a galaxy far, far away to life with each new opportunity, or much rather each and every new project that comes to fruition. He's had that opportunity just about to work on all of those different projects, essentially providing a lot of the conceptual art for those projects. So having drawn out, of course, various times Vader in those different layers, as he kind of quote unquote calls it, in those different stages of helmets and putting on the helmet and putting on the suit and everything of that nature, going from the bacta tank where it's just a normal, like Anakin Skywalker pretty much, and like what's left of his body, and putting him into these artificial limbs, into the artificial suit, into the helmet, and everything down to the boots, the gloves, and the cape, putting all of that on, and then putting that into an actual sequence for Obi Wan Kenobi. A lot of work, a lot of thought also goes on into that there as well. And as he also describes and saying that some of those is better to pull off a bit more mysterious, like we don't show that full detail of how maybe he necessarily is able to get on his cape, how he gets on his boots, how he puts on those artificial limbs essentially. Those are remaining a bit more in the shadows, pretty much is what he's getting at. Also, for the matter of that, well, he's been with Lucasfilm since 1999, and he says and reveals that this is the first time that we've had a full-on Vader reveal in throughout his various stages in this kind of sort of montage, more or less like a sequence of him getting his suit on. It's a first time, and it's something that has to kind of get down pat, something to get correct. It's the first time, hopefully it won't be the last time. Hopefully there'll be more opportunity to see it in the near future with more Darth Vader-centric kind of projects, similar to with what Obi Wan Kenobi had provided, as I describe it as a very Vader kind of centric kind of project. Same thing for thinking back on it. The Ahsoka Disney Plus show seems to be more or less a very Anakin Skywalker slash Darth Vader centric kind of project there as well, having served throughout many of the different episodes. It makes you look into the horizon, into the future of that, hey, maybe we'll get more of this character in the near future. Hayden Christensen is very much so on board with returning to a galaxy far, far away. He sees the love that us fans are putting out there to him, more specifically, and if it isn't maybe as a kind of role, essentially a co-character kind of role, like, of course, the Ahsoka Disney Plus show and Obi Wan Kenobi, he's in those, he appears in those in very much big, large supporting roles, but those shows aren't like Darth Vader's show, essentially, is what I'm getting at. Something of the lines of maybe having that possible potential to get a Darth Vader Disney Plus show or a Darth Vader movie or even a trilogy is something that could be looked upon from us fans. Something that of where we're able to see more and more of Vader and more of his mysterious darkness, essentially. Of course, considering and remembering that none of this here is really confirmed necessarily, just some new teases and new reveals about the character, playing Darth Vader, returning as the character once again, pulling off some of those more iconic recent scenes, such as in the Obi Wan Kenobi show with the bacta tank scene. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.